Hello, ladies, and welcome. So, today I'm going to be discussing the book Skinny Bitch, a no nonsense, tough love guide for savvy girls who want to stop eating crap and start looking fabulous by Rory Freedman and Kim Barnouin. So, this book is written with a bit of humor and a bit of sarcasm. This is a good book to read if you want to learn more about not just diet, but diet in the sense of losing weight. But if you want to educate yourself on a lot of the things that traditional diet books may not talk about, such as how much interest or how much I'm losing my word at the moment, how much the government is involved in the influence of what we choose to eat and the things that we purchase in the grocery store. So the two chapters that I'm going to focus on will be chapter 9 and chapter 13. I would also like to read the introduction because I think that this will give you a good idea of what is in this book. So the introduction. Are you sick and tired of being fat? Good. If you can't take one more day of self-loathing, you're ready to get skinny. You don't need a degree in biology to get skinny. You don't need to starve yourself to get skinny. You don't need to spend all day at the gym to get skinny. You just need to smarten up and use your head. Really, it is that simple. We have been so brainwashed by fad diets, magazine articles, and advertising that we have forgotten how to think for ourselves. Skinny Bitch delivers the truth about food so that you can make intelligent and educated decisions for yourself. This knowledge will empower you to become a skinny bitch. This is not a diet, this is a way of life. A way to enjoy food, a way to feel healthy, clean, energized, and pure. It's time to reclaim your mind and body. It's time to strut your skinny ass down the street like you're in an episode of Charlie's Angels with some really cool song playing in the background. It's time to prance around in a thong like you rule the world. It's time to get skinny. So I'm going to share what the contents are here in this book. There are 13 chapters, and they are: Chapter 1, Give It Up. Chapter 2, Carbs, the Truth. Chapter 3, Sugar is the Devil. Chapter 4, The Dead, Rotting, Decomposing Flesh Diet. Chapter 5, The Dairy Disaster. Chapter 6, You Are What You Eat. Chapter 7, The Myths and Lies About Protein. Chapter 8, Pooping. Chapter 9, Have No Faith. Governmental agencies don't give a shit about your health. Chapter 10, Don't Be a PUSSY. Chapter 11, Let's Eat. Chapter 12, FYI. And Chapter 13, Use Your Head. So I'm going to focus on chapters 9 and chapters 13. And I'm going to go to chapter 9 first, which is Have No Faith. Governmental agencies don't give a shit about your health. And the reason I'm going to focus on this chapter, because as mentioned, oftentimes we don't realize just how much influence advertising maybe, but the government itself has in what we choose to eat. And we often go into the grocery store and we think that what is there in the grocery store is healthy, safe for us to eat, and has been approved. But just because it's been approved, that does not mean that it's healthy, and that does not mean that it's safe. And one of the things that I got is I have a consumer's dictionary to food ingredients and additives. And I keep that in my kitchen so that when I'm curious about an ingredient, I can look it up. And it's a dictionary just like any other dictionary. And I have found some really interesting things just by looking things up in that dictionary. So if you really want to know what is in your food, I definitely suggest getting something like that. I probably will come and do a video on camera to show that book and to just maybe with a package of some food or something to show you how you can look the ingredients up, because it's been really helpful to me. I am very passionate about holistic wellness and health because I had some health issues some years ago. So for about the last 9 years, I have been studying holistic wellness and alternative health. And I do have a certification in nutrition, chronic disease, and health promotion. I am not a physician. I am not giving any medical advice to anyone, but I am simply saying that it is a good idea for you to start looking into these things yourself, because the things that you think are healthy are probably not. So, Chapter 9, the USDA, it's not what you think. President Abraham Lincoln founded the U.S. Department of Agriculture in 1862, when the majority of people were farmers and needed to exchange information about seeds and crops. In other words, the USDA was created to help farmers. According to its website, now, among other things, the USDA is responsible for the safety of meat, poultry, and egg products. That's weird, because many high-ranking staff members at the USDA were employed by or are otherwise affiliated with the meat and dairy industries. And if the group responsible for the safety of meat, poultry, and egg products is run by people from the same industries they're supposed to be protecting us from, well, that would be a conflict of interest. And it is an enormous, ridiculous, outrageous, catastrophic conflict of interest. So I'm going to skip down some. They go on to talk more about how a former USDA secretary was forced to resign because of gifts from different companies. Then we have, this section says, safety last. With that in mind, it's no wonder Veneman vetoed a program that would test all U.S. cattle for mad cow disease. In fact, out of the 35 million cattle slaughtered in 2003, the USDA only tested 20,000 for mad cow disease. Japan tests all of their cattle killed for human consumption. Of course, it wouldn't be in a rancher's best interest to test all of his cattle. If they were inflicted with mad cow disease, he couldn't sell their meat, and he'd lose money. Heaven forbid the USDA risk a rancher's profits. Some of you may remember years ago when there was that whole mad cow disease scare, and a lot of people got sick from eating beef, and a lot of the cows were dying and things like that. So just keep that in mind, how only, according to them here in this book, 20,000 cows are required to be tested. So I'm going to skip down here to where it says, the USDA also likes referring to another safety, and that's in quotes, program in place called the National Animal Identification System. The NAIS is a system for identifying an animal's origin so that if its meat is found to be contaminated, it can be traced back to a specific farm. Forget testing as a preventative measure. Implement a system for after someone eats contaminated meat and we need a recall. Participation in this program is voluntary. Wow, the USDA sure has tough rules governing the safety of our country's meat. So just keep that in mind if you are a meat eater, that participation in a program to identify an unsafe animal is voluntary. So I'm going to scroll down a bit. It talks more about the NAIS here, but I'm going to scroll down some more. And I'm going to read the section here that talks about the hormones that are placed into the animals. So illegal hormones are regularly pumped into veal calves, which are suspected of increasing the growth of cancer cells in the humans who eat them. The USDA has not only been accused of overlooking these practices, but also of falsifying lab results, altering records, and pressuring staff to lie about events. Even the selfish whores who eat veal don't deserve that. Okay. So, it talks here, the next section is business first. And this talks about the dietary guidelines and the food pyramid. And I'm pretty sure all of you are familiar with the food pyramid. So I guess I will read this paragraph, a part of this paragraph. So, none of us deserve to be deceived all these years by the preposterous USDA dietary guidelines and food pyramid either. In 1998, the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine filed a federal lawsuit against the USDA and the Department of Health and Human Services. PCRM claimed that federal laws were violated when the USDA selected 6 out of 11 people with financial ties to various food industries to serve on the Dietary Guidelines Advisory Committee. So again, there we have the conflict of interest with that. And I'm going to scroll down some more to, let's see. Okay, this section, it says all in a day's work, and the discussion is around the National School Lunch Program. And how many of you ever think about where that food comes from that they feed the children in the public school system, and then I guess even in some of the private schools? So this is a good section to read if you are curious about that. It talks about the NSLP, National School Lunch Program, and the amount of money and just the different things that go into that whole program and the contamination and all of those things. So if you have children or if you're just interested in learning about that, there's a section in here on that. And then the next section is organic or not. And this is something that I know to be true, what they're going to talk about in organic or not. Sometimes you go to the grocery store and you may say, you know what, I'm going to start eating organic. I want to eat organic. So you go and you pick up a package and it says on the front of the package, organic, or it says no MSG, no artificial ingredients, all of these advertising things that they can put on the front of a package. But start flipping the package over and looking, because it's so funny. I remember I was at work one day, and I always look at packages. Like if we ever do any kind of holiday things or potlucks or anything where people just bring in things, I'll look at the packaging, because I just have like a severe allergy to certain things, so I can't eat everything. And I remember there was this one package, and I showed my coworker, and I laughed about it. I was like, look at this. It says no MSG here, right? And on the front of the package, it was just like in big letters, no MSG. And of course, me being me, I flipped it over and I'm looking at the ingredients, and guess what was in the ingredients? MSG. So don't go for what they've put on the front of a package, because it's just advertising, and they can sneak it in the ingredients. Not even really sneak it in, but I guess they know a lot of people don't even look at the ingredients. So in this section where it says organic or not, it's not enough that they dictate all things meat and dairy. The USDA even sticks its big nose into our organic products too. In April 2004, the USDA made sweeping changes to their National Organic Program standards. The new rules infuriated organic farmers and consumers because livestock were allowed to eat non-organic fish meal, even if it contained toxins or synthetic preservatives. Cows and calves given growth hormones, antibiotics, or other drugs could still provide the public with organic milk, as long as a year had passed since the drugs were administered. Pesticides could be used even if they contained unknown inert ingredients, as long as a reasonable effort had been made to identify them. And seafood, pet food, clothing, fertilizers, and body care products could be labeled organic without being monitored by the USDA. Not only were people livid with the actual changes, but also with the decision-making process. By law, these types of regulatory changes are required to undergo a period of public comment before being enacted. There was no comment period, just an announcement of changes after the fact. So, something to keep in mind, ladies, that these preservatives and these hormones and antibiotics and things that are being placed in the livestock through their feed is being passed right on to you when you eat them. And then, as they mention here, even with seafood, pet food, clothing, and body care. One of the things that I do is I buy my fish wild caught. I do not eat farmed fish unless I eat out. I don't have any way of knowing unless I'm going to some restaurant that, proudly serves only farmed fish. But most seafood that you buy, it's farmed, and it's just like, if you go read about it, it's so gross. But even like with clothing, there's a really good book that I'm going to do a review on soon. And that's something else that we don't think about, how our clothing is processed and created and manufactured in the way that it not only harms the environment, but can be harmful to us when we wear it because of the dyes and things. And when we steam it or iron it or we wash it, and these things are released into the air. And then body care products, things that we place and rub all over our skin, lotions and things. So that's also something to keep in mind. So I'm going to scroll down some more here. And then it goes on to say, in the next section, is everyone in the FDA on drugs. And in this section, they discuss greed and immortality and just, I guess, why the craziness is happening. So then I'm going to read this section that says, you are your only chance. If you want to get skinny, you can only rely on yourself. If you adapt only one practice from this book, let it be this. Read the ingredients. Forget counting carbs, adding calories, and multiplying fat grams. Just read the ingredients. It doesn't matter how many calories or carbs or fat grams something has. It just doesn't matter. You don't need the government's asinine recommended daily allowances to tell you how to eat. Just read the ingredients. If they are healthy, wholesome, and pure, dive in. If there is refined sugar, white or bleached flour, hydrogenated oils, any animal products, artificial anything, or some scary looking word that you don't know, don't eat it. We can't make it any simpler. Just read the ingredients and completely ignore all the other jibber-jabber BS the government calls for on the packaging. F them. Trust no one. Get skinny. So I'm going to stop there, but it goes on to discuss the EPA, which is the Environmental Protection Agency, and what else? Trust no one, which talks about some presidential things, and then it goes, we're at chapter 9, so I'm going to go to chapter 13, which was, let me see here, I'm in the ebook, so I'm not just like tabbing through a page. So chapter 13 is Use Your Head, which is use your head. And remember, this book is written with some sarcasm and some funnies. Don't be a fat pig anymore. You know what you have to do, now do it. But don't go anorexic on us either. It's easy to get caught up in any lifestyle change and go overboard. Make healthy choices and take excellent care of yourself without getting neurotic and obsessive. Use your head. We can't say it enough. Use your own head and think about what you are eating. Forget what you've ever read, heard, or learned, and just think for yourself. Once they've recovered, your body, brain, and instincts will always lead you down the right food path. Obey them and disregard everyone and everything else. You know the truth. Read the ingredients. This goes hand in hand with using your head. If you plan on eating something, you should know exactly what it is. Even if it's a product that we've recommended, you still need to check the ingredients. Companies change their recipes all the time. 2 vegan products we loved initially and suggested weren't vegan by the time we were finished writing this book, and we had to remove them from our recommendation list. Trust no one, not even us. Some of the products on our suggested food list aren't perfect. We make certain allowances based on our own opinions and desires. Read and decide for yourself. And if you don't recognize an ingredient, call the company's 800 number on the package and ask what it is. If it's not something you would put in your body, tell them and suggest that they improve their product. Companies really do take comments into account, so always voice your opinion. Have any of you ever done that? I used to be a letter writer. I guess I still am. So I guess if there was like a product that I really, really liked and then it was changed, I probably would do that. I probably would reach out to like some consumer line or something, or now it's probably online where you can just do like like submit an online form. But I would probably do that if it was something that I loved that was changed. But as I mentioned before, I have the ingredient dictionary, and that's very helpful. So then it goes on to say, now that you're a skinny bitch, don't turn into a skinny bitch. We conceived of the title Skinny Bitch to get attention and sell books. We just wanted to spread our message far and wide and thought skinny bitch was a good way to do it. But we are not bitches, and we have no desire to promote bitchiness. There is nothing uglier than a pretty woman who's nasty. If you look great, you should feel good about yourself and be happy. Instead of fixating on the last 5 pounds you want to lose, celebrate the 5 you already lost. Progress, not perfection. Don't be insecure or competitive or feel threatened by women who are thinner or prettier than you. Be happy for them. It will make you look better. Smile a lot, give compliments out whenever you can, and be nice to everyone. You'll just keep getting prettier and prettier and skinnier. Soon you'll notice people, especially men, flocking to the new you. Not just because you're skinny, but because you are happier, healthier, and eating a cruelty-free diet. So, feel free to share your new wealth of information with everyone who asks. Spread the good word, but be careful not to preach. You'll see that some people get very defensive about their diets when you tell them about yours. Even if you are being very non-judgmental, people may feel threatened by your righteousness. Understandably, your being a vegan shines a spotlight on the cruelty they're contributing to, and it makes them feel uncomfortable. When asked, you can describe what you've learned about the treatment of farm animals and all of the health benefits of being vegan. By all means, let people know how great you feel and how much weight you've lost. But never suggest that they try it or make them feel bad about their diet. Offer to lend them your copy of Skinny Bitch or give them the goveg.com website. But don't push it. Everyone seeks the truth in his or her own time. Now that you've got your diet, health, and appearances under control, fix other areas of your life. After all, there's no point in being gorgeous if your life is a mess. In your codependent relationship, quit your dead-end job and ditch your toxic friends. Make a list of goals and start chipping away at them. This is your life. Live it to the fullest with reckless abandon. Seize the day and do it again tomorrow. Live. Go get your dream job. Search for your dream man. Fear nothing. Try everything. Be excited. Dance. You'll never get yesterday back, but today is yours for the taking. Make it great. So it goes on a little bit longer, but I'm going to stop there just to say I'm not a vegan. I've never been a vegan. I have been a vegetarian, but even if you are not vegan or vegetarian, I think that this is still a good book for you to read just to gain knowledge about what is in the food that you're eating, and then it can be up to you whether or not you want to make any changes. But if you are trying to lose weight, some of the things that are mentioned in the book will be very helpful to you because food additives and hormones and things like that can have an effect on your ability to lose weight. And even if you're not trying to lose weight, but you just want to be healthier, it's a good book to read because there's so much information in here that you'll learn how to be healthier by implementing some of these things. So I hope that you enjoyed this read. I'm going to stop here. And again, the book is Skinny Bitch, a no-nonsense, tough love guide for savvy girls who want to stop eating crap and start looking fabulous. I hope you enjoyed the read. Please like and subscribe.